So the theme of this year's conference is broadening horizons for LGBT people in the workplace, the international challenges and the opportunities. And a lot has happened since we last met at ABN AMRO about a year ago. We've seen examples where same-sex marriage has now become legal in Malta, England and Wales, France, New Zealand, and most recently in Luxembourg, plus a number of states in the US. In India, transgenders are now recognized as a third gender, which has been a great advancement. Burberry's appointed an out CEO, one of two FTSE 100 companies that has an out CEO. And this week, the White House is reporting that President Obama is going to sign an executive order banning contractors from discriminating on the grounds of sexual orientation. So there's been a lot of progress. However, at the same time, we've seen laws passed in Russia which prevent citizens from being vocal about who they are, about being LGBT. Uganda passing anti-homosexuality acts that potentially could have citizens imprisoned for a year just for being who they are. Brunei implementing Sharia law. Nigeria strengthening legislation against gays and lesbians. And even closer to home, we see places like the Ukraine, where homophobic language, homophobic policy is being suggested. These are not just statutes on books. These are not just laws that go through a parliament. These turn into beatings, violence, loss of dignity, loss of employment, loss of income, and an erosion of human rights. We don't have to think far in human history, in recent human history, where people have been treated that same way. And I think having this conference at this time and all the other activities that are going on globally become so important. And that's the complex world that we live in. On the one hand, we've got great progress that's being achieved, emancipation, but on the other hand, we see countries that are aggressing, closing their borders, and really going in on themselves. A world where governments of opposing social views are having to work together. A world where multinational companies are having to operate in countries that have laws that may cut well across or go against their values, corporate beliefs, the things that they stand for. And we as global citizens travel the world. We do it for pleasure, we do it to learn, and we do it to work. We're a mobile world these days. And even closer still, I was told the story of a middle manager at one of our Workplace Pride member companies who made the following comment in front of his own staff. They can't win anyway, they're all football-playing gays, those fags. So if that's the language that takes place in one of our member companies, plus everything else I've spoken about, we still have a lot of work to do. And that's why conferences like this are so important. So how should we as companies, as governments, as NGOs, as employees react and respond? How do we make sure that we have workplaces that are safe? They allow people to reach their abilities and to be productive. And they're the challenges, they're the issues that we want to spend today exploring. So I invite you to use this as an opportunity to do that and really get engaged in the topics of the conference. We're extremely thankful that Shell, as a long-time member of Workplace Pride, has offered to not only sponsor but host today's conference. And with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce Dick Benschop, who's the President Director of Shell Netherlands, to officially open the conference.
Thank you very much, Mark. Good morning. Indeed, on behalf of Shell, I would like to give you a very warm welcome to today's conference. And a special word of welcome, of course, to our two keynote speakers today, Lord John Brown, welcome to Shell, back to Shell, you've been here, and Brigadier General Tammy Smith. We're very honored to have you here today. Later today, we will welcome Frans Timmermans as well, the Dutch foreign minister, who will be here. It's good to see so many colleagues from companies and governmental organizations that have joined forces in workplace pride. 33 in total. That's the amount of companies and organizations that make us. Shell, as Mark said, has been a member since, I believe, 2006. And we were also one of the first companies to have a boat in the Amsterdam Pride Canal Parade, the famous one. We probably have something with boats in Shell. You might know that we have developed a floating liquefied natural gas project, the largest floating structure in the world. I don't believe it fits into an Amsterdam canal. Shell believes in diversity and inclusion. And as many other companies, we call the case for diversity and inclusion a business case. In nationality, gender, LGBT, we want to be representative of our customer base, and we want to attract the best talent. And on top of that, we believe that diversity inspires innovation, and innovation is at the core of what we do. And we also realize that diversity is not delivering unless we have an inclusive workplace as well. And that's why diversity and inclusion are inextricably linked together. We are in a workplace here. We work here, at least we hope. We also build connections here. We develop friendships. We share our stories. And we want to make sure that we have a workplace where everyone feels free to express themselves and fully contribute in the day-to-day discourse that takes place. In this global headquarters of Shell, we have almost 2,000 staff working from 72 nationalities, plus many visitors from around the world every day. And we are proud of the diversity in our organization. We recognize the challenge of being an invisible minority in the workplace that many gay, lesbian, bisexual, and transgender staff are. As such, we need to do more to ensure all staff feel safe and welcome in our organization. One of the things we do is holding a people survey every year amongst all our staff. One of the scores I always look to immediately is the answer to the question, I feel free to speak my mind. I think that's an extremely important indicator for values, for safety, but also for lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender staff. The Shell Pink Pearl Network, Mark mentioned it, has an annual member survey as well. And yes, we are seen as an LGBT-friendly company, but a sizable group of the respondents is not comfortable being out towards senior leaders and the HR service desk for that matter. International mobility is an issue. It was already addressed. Senior management could give more support. That's the outcome of that survey amongst the Pink Pearl members. So here at Shell, we have our work cut out for us. And there are very different workplaces, of course, in a company like ours, and we should be aware of that as well, in remote locations and across the world. The theme for this year is broadening horizons for LGBT people in the workplace, the international challenges and opportunities. We are, like many of the other participating companies, in many countries. For us, it's 70 countries with a workforce of over 90,000 people across the world. And Mark alluded to that, some of those countries have laws which do not support or protect the LGBT citizens. Whilst we must operate within the laws of those countries, we still believe it is possible, if not essential, to discuss all aspects of our organization's diversity, including sexual orientation. And we want employees to have access to fulfilling career opportunities, which may include overseas assignments, access to training and leading projects. Looking more broadly, we should use today to explore how companies, governments, NGOs, civil society groups and workplace pride can partner to effect change. It's a diverse group of stakeholders with unique needs, but also breadth of experience and solutions. In Shell, we defined our core values as honesty, integrity, and respect for people. At the heart of this is making the most of our organization's diversity and promoting inclusion, equally and globally. Leadership, and I'm sure we will be talking about that shortly, is about commitment, and it is personal. So let's use today, each of us, to think what we can do, what we take away on Monday, back at work, in terms of the difference we can make for our colleagues and for the quality of organization. In some countries, LGBT emancipation is a long journey, and often we are dealing with a topic that can challenge deeply held beliefs and convictions. However, also there, the first step begins with us. I wish you a very good conference. Welcome.
So, Dick,